Good morning to all of you students. This is our part 3 of chapter named Life Processes part 3. Okay, Life Processes part 3. In part 1 I had just given the introduction of the chapter. In part 2 you had studied about the central nervous system, and today we are going to start the topic peripheral nervous system. So students, I had told to all of you that nervous system consists of 3 parts. First was central nervous system, second was peripheral nervous system, and the third is autonomic nervous system. So we had completed our central nervous system, which contain brain and spinal cord. Today we are going to study peripheral nervous system. Okay, the peripheral nervous system. So students, the peripheral nervous system comprises of the nerves. Nerves carry messages from the sense organ to the CNS and form the CNS to the organ of response depending on the function they could be. So students, as we know that central nervous system contain brain and spinal cord. So rest other nerve which carry message to brain or spinal cord and to the sense organs, they comprisingly called the peripheral nervous system. They contain sensory nerves, motor nerves and connector nerves. What is the function of sensory nerves? Sensory nerves carry the message from the sense organ and then take them from the sense organ to the central nervous system. Okay, they are also known as effector nerves. What are motor nerves? They carry message from central nervous system to sense organ or organ they response. Okay students, means the sense organ sends something and the nerves which transfer that message to brain is known as sensory nerve. After that, if we want to respond to that sense, okay, that stimulus, that organ is known as organ of response. So the nerve which connect central nervous system to organ of response, they are known as motor nerves, and the connection between sensory nerves and motor nerves is known as connector nerves. Okay students, nerves may arise from the brain. These are termed as cranial nerves. The nerve which arises from brain are known as cranial nerve. These are 12 pair of cranial nerves. So how many pair of cranial nerves are present there? There are 12 pair of cranial nerves is present inside the human body. Nerve arising from spinal cord are called spinal nerve. So the number of spinal cord pair is, spinal nerve is 31 pair of spinal nerves. So basically the outline of peripheral nervous system is, students, that peripheral nervous system comprises the nerves which connect sense organ to central nervous system. Okay, the nerves which transfer the message from sense organ to central nervous system is known as sensory nerves. The nerves which transfer the messages from the central nervous system to organ of response, that you have to respond on this, that are known as motor nerves, and the nerves between them are known as connector nerves, means in between sensory and motor nerves. After that student, here you can see the autonomic nervous system. So you also know that autonomic nervous system, in short form known as ANS. ANS runs parallel to spinal cord. Autonomic nervous system runs parallel to spinal cord and help control involuntary function of the body. So what is the function of autonomic nervous system? See students, there are many functions in our body which is not governed by our willpower, that we can't control, like the rate of heartbeat, increasing and decreasing of blood pressure, dilation and contraction of your pupil. We can't control these functions. Okay, so all these functions are governed by the autonomic nervous system part of our nervous system. Okay students, for example, here you can see it lowers the rate of heartbeat, dilates the blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, constrict the pupil. So here with the help of this diagram you can see In the spinal cord, all the organs are connected with the nerves, but the function of their contraction, relaxation and involuntary function is governed by autonomic nervous system. Students, the meaning of involuntary action is the action which we can't control, okay, like contraction and relaxation of vessels, our pulse rate, our heartbeat, all the function are governed by autonomic nervous system. Okay students, now the next topic is the sense organs. So students, you also know that the major sense organ, or we can say the total number of sense organ present inside our body is 5, that is eyes, nose, tongue, skin and ear. Okay, so when we were child, we were studying that these 5 are our sense organ, these 5 are sense organ. Here we will study what is the scientific name or what is the scientific way to call the sense organ by their name. Okay, here you can see the sense organ act like receptor. What are receptor? Receptor which detect the stimulus. Okay, stimulus is the external change and the organ which accept or detect that stimulus is known as receptor. They receive stimulus. A stimulus is any change in the environment, both internal or external, to which the body responds. I told you students that stimulus is that external or internal change which our body detect, and in that our body responds to that stimulus. The part of our body which responds to that particular stimulus is known as receptor for that particular stimulus. Here you can see some receptor of our body is gustatory receptor. These detect taste. They lie in our tongue. So why our tongue is known as the sense organ? Because the gustatory receptor is present inside our tongue which detect which stimulus? Here the taste is that stimulus which is detected by our tongue, and our tongue is having gustatory receptor. Okay, now the second is photoreceptors. So photo means student light. Okay, so these are sensitive to light. They lie in our eyes. So our eyes are the receptor for light. Okay students, and light is the stimulus for our eyes. Now phonoreceptor. Okay, these detect sound. Here the sound is a stimulus and the receptor for sound is our ear. So our ear contain phonoreceptors. After that, thermoreceptor. These are sensitive to heat. Okay, so for heat, which is stimulus, our skin is the receptor. Okay, then chemoreceptor. These are sensitive to chemicals. Means when chemicals are stimulus, then also which is the receptor for that chemicals? Our skin. Then after that, tactile receptor. These are sensitive to touch and also lie in our skin. So our skin is also receptor for which stimulus? For touch stimulus. Then the last one is olfactory receptor. These are sensitive to smell. So if the smell is stimulus, which is the receptor for smell? Olfactory receptor, which is lies in our nasal epithelium, means inside our nose. Okay, nasal means nose and epithelium means the lining of the inner lining of nose. Okay students, so in our next part of the video of this chapter, we will study all the sense organs. Okay students, if you are having any doubt, any question regarding any topic, you can message me. Now the first sense organ which we are going to study is our eye. So firstly we will revise. So students, what eye contain? Eye contain photoreceptor, means eye is sensitive for light. Okay, means for our eyes, which is stimulus? Light is stimulus for our eyes. So for eyes we have to study the structure of eyes. Here you can see, students, the structure of eyes. Okay, these are muscles. Okay, this is suspensory ligament, this is conjunctiva, this is iris, this is aqueous humor, this is cornea, this is ciliary muscles, this is scleroid. Okay, this is choroid, this is vitreous humor, this is optic nerve, this is blind spot, this is yellow spot, and this is retina. So these are the labeling of eye. Student, what you have to remember is, what is iris? Iris is the part of eye, students, which contain pigment. You see some student have green eyes, some people have green eyes, some people have black eyes, some people have brown eyes. So that is because of the iris of color. Okay, the pigment inside the iris depends on what will be the color of that eye. Okay, inside that iris you see a dark color, that is known as pupil. Okay, see students, this part of the eye is iris and this is pupil. Okay, this is pupil. After that, behind the pupil you can see, and behind the iris you can see, this is eye lens. Eye lens is responsible for the formation of image or the refraction or reflection of light. Okay, now this is cornea, the white part of the eye. See students, this white part of the eye is known as cornea. Ciliary muscles are the eye muscles which are responsible for the you can say the lens is being expanded inside the ciliary muscles. Okay, means the muscle responsible for the attachment of lenses and the ligaments, suspensory ligaments. Suspensory ligaments help the lens to get fixed inside our eye. Okay, retina is the part of our eyes where the formation of image takes place. Okay students, when you see something, the image forms on our retina. What is yellow spot? Yellow spot is the part of the retina where the best image formation takes place. Okay, now what is blind spot? Blind spot is the area of retina where no image formation takes place, because behind the blind spot all the optic nerves are the nerves which are responsible for our vision. Vision means you are able to see something. So because optic nerves are going through that blind spot. Okay, so on blind spot no image formation takes place. Choroid is the membrane which is found around the eyeball. Okay, here you can see these are eyes muscles. You also know eye muscle is responsible for the opening and closing of eyes. Okay, this is choroid membrane. The pink one is choroid membrane. Okay students, the fluid which is present between retina and lenses is known as vitreous humor. Okay, vitreous humor is the fluid which is present between retina and lenses. After that you can see here aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is the liquid which is present between the part behind the lenses. Okay, behind the lenses you can see aqueous humor, and after the lens you can see the vitreous humor. Okay students, so this is the structure of your eye. Here you can see students, when you see in bright light, see students, when you see in bright light, you see that your pupil become contracted, means the pupil becomes smaller in size. This phenomena is because of, if you contract your pupil or if your eye contract the pupil, that means minimum number of light get inside in your eye. But inside the dim light, you see the pupil become dilated because when you see in dim light, the maximum number of light I will want get inside your eye. Okay students, hope you understand the eye. The remaining part of eye and other sense organ we will study in our next lecture. Okay.